Good evening, everyone. Coming to you late today on live, but it will be at your normal Thursday podcast time whenever you decide to listen. This is the it's late. MMOA Podcast brought to you by the Institute of Clinical Excellence. My name is Dr. Samantha Chamberlain. Some upcoming courses before we jump into today's topic. We have Essential Foundations and Advanced Concepts starting in 1 month. So October 11th and October 12th is when both of those kick off. So if you have had Essential Foundations or taken it, then jump into Advanced Concepts starting October 12th. You can sign up now. We have MMOA Live coming to Edmond, Oklahoma this weekend, the September 16th and 17th. And then that will be followed up with a visit to Falls Church, Virginia, October 7th. So today's topic is a dynamometer and a whiteboard. I'm actually doing a Vice on this at the end of the month, and Vice opens for new enrollment September 26th. So if you find this topic interesting and you like to get just a variety of information, those Tuesday night Vices is a really good way to get that, and they do count towards continuing education units, or however your state calls them now. So shameless plug, Vice coming up, enrollment is coming up at the end of the month, so feel free to jump into that. It's ongoing every Tuesday throughout the year. So you can get the full depth 40-minute-ish discussion about a dynamometer and a whiteboard in that Vice group at the end of the month. But this one's going to be a little bit short and sweet, a little bit of a teaser, because there's a lot to say about these two things. It sounds ridiculous, but let me give you a snippet of what that Vice is going to dive into. So a dynamometer and a whiteboard. These are two items that I absolutely knew, without a doubt, I was going to have in our new clinic. These items are things that I knew I needed to function effectively and efficiently. Both very important in our work, but why? Like, that's a bold statement for me to say that those two things have that much priority for me. Combine that with a way to load up my patients, and those three things are what I knew I needed. Those were my priorities. That's what I searched for. So why? Why do I need to know grip strength, which is what a dynamometer tells us? Why in the world would a whiteboard be important? So grip strength, let's tackle that one first. It is an excessively simple way to identify humans that might be frail, or even maybe more importantly, possibly pre-frail, and you can prevent them from becoming frail because you caught it. People don't come into your clinic looking frail. They don't have a certain look. Yes, sometimes you can tell when people have been quite sick, but that doesn't make them frail. Grip strength is a way to kind of catch that pre-frail, frail, and identify that, hey, I maybe need to go off a checklist and test a couple other things and see if these people fall into this category of pre-frail or frail. And if they are one of the two, we need to take action and push hard to get them back to a non-frail state, or get them back to pre-frail, and work as hard as we can to get them closer to wellness. And grip strength can do that for you. It can trigger that. It can let you know where this human is at on that spectrum, where they're at in recovery from whatever ailment they may have had. Or maybe they just came in for balance and they didn't even know that they were getting as weak as what they are. Why does grip strength tell us so much? The very simple way to put it is a very easy way to kind of tell how much someone is interacting with their environment. If you're sedentary all day long, you're not really grabbing a whole lot of things. If you're sedentary 90% of your day, chances are you're not using your hands to put away a lot of dishes or do any of those household tasks a ton. You're probably having help with those tasks even. You may be really good at clicking buttons, whether it's on a phone or a remote or a computer, but you're probably not putting a stack of plates in the cabinet or lifting a laundry basket or lifting weights, right? If your grip strength is low, these things are not happening. However, if you have a better grip strength, or we check, then you probably are doing some pushing, some pulling, some lifting, carrying in several grocery bags at once, carrying a full laundry basket, pushing the vacuum, pulling the vacuum. Maybe you're doing some resistance training throughout your week. And that gives us an idea of where you're at and where we need to start and focus our care. Disclaimer, the measure does not give us as accurate information about people's overall strength and environment interaction if they have one of our foes, arthritis, on board. But it's still a valuable measure that we can use to show change. Beyond ease and importance, it also gives us a great way to demonstrate progress to a patient. Like, there can be some errors, but they're very few, right? Like, you can have them hold it. You can have a set position that you put their arm in, or like, they have them hold it bent or overhand each time. Like, you just kind of develop how you're going to test it each time. And it will, like, with their increased interaction and holding stuff within your clinic, their grip strength is going to change. And there's not much way that they can be like, oh, well, you tested it wrong last time, or she did it different the time before, or I was sitting in a different way. So they're not going to have as much discrepancy as, some other outcome measures can. We, of course, try to go by the standard with everything, but this is one step. You hand them the dynamometer, they squeeze it, it tells you how much pounds of pressure they put against it, or kilograms. So very simple, and a great way to show that they are getting stronger when it might be slow. It might be a slow progression. They might slowly be starting to see the changes that they're having around their home. But this is one way that you can really like boost them up and be like, you've increased 5 pounds in the last couple of weeks. Like, this is huge. This is amazing. Like, you're showing that you're getting better. I told you I was going to keep it simple. So onto the whiteboard. Why was a whiteboard a requirement for me? To write welcome to PT. Of course. What else would I put on there? A lot of things. So as nice as it is to say welcome to physical therapy on a whiteboard, I use it for far more things than that. So the whiteboard allows me to program for my patient, often in real time, in the presence of my patient. So I can get input from them on how they're feeling that day specifically. And I have a general idea of what I want to focus on, or what I need to focus on for them to meet the goals that they've expressed to me are meaningful and important to them. However, I still ask, what's important for you today? What do you want to focus on today? How much energy do you have? What do you have planned for the rest of your day? These questions help me see what the priority for them is in that moment. Eventually, I start getting somewhat similar answers. Sometimes it's different at the beginning because maybe they've never had therapy before and they don't know how to answer these questions. They don't know what to expect. So this starts helping me tease out what really is the priority for this person day after day. And then how much energy do you have is a little bit more, I don't want to say more positive way, but just a seemingly better way to ask, how tired are you? Or how fatigued are you? Because then suddenly they're like, oh man, I'm really tired. And maybe they didn't have that appearance when they walked in, but now that you've brought it up, they're like, oh yeah, I'm pretty tired. Like, it's midday, I'm worn out, whatever it may be. Whereas if I say, how much energy do you have? Then they might be like, I'm feeling pretty good at the moment. And then knowing what else they have planned for the day allows me to know how much gas I need to leave in the tank for them, how much they need to be able to do for the rest of the day with how much effort. So back to the whiteboard, right? I ask these questions. I'm looking at the whiteboard. I have a general plan of what I'm going to be doing with this patient. So maybe I write out 1 or 2, and then I start having these conversations. And overall, I'm going to write out 3 to 5 interventions on this whiteboard. And we're going to perform them in some sort of circuit. But some of those exercises, I'm having them tell me, like if they've been to therapy a few times, then I'm having them say, what exercise did you get the most out of last time? Or what one was the hardest? Or what one do you absolutely not want to do today? And I give them that option. Like, it's their body, it's their choice, it's their time. So if there's an exercise that they just really don't want to do, I'll let them not do it. Maybe I modify something else that still gives me a very similar stimulus. But if they have a negative feeling towards one certain exercise, then I'm not going to force that onto somebody. And I'll probably be able to get more reps out of someone if I include them in that choice. Like, if I give them the choice to say, I would rather not do this one, but then I put something else in, they're probably going to be more willing to do more of that. So I write them out, and then we're going to perform it in some sort of circuit. Sometimes it's just a minute each, keeping it very simple for me and the patient. Sometimes it's certain reps for each exercise. Sometimes it's certain reps within a minute, and the rest of the minute you get to rest, which is that every minute on the minute style of programming, or an EMOM. And because it's on a whiteboard, if there's something I see not going well, it's too easy, it's too hard, it's not really giving me the desired stimulus that we had planned, or it's just maybe it's not coordinated that day, whatever it may be, I can change it. I can change the reps, I can change the load, I can change the time. Sometimes I write in underneath it or beside it round 2, and it's a completely different intervention than what we did round 1 because it just wasn't cutting it. It just wasn't what we needed. And I do that in real time. The patient sees this happen. I change the plan in the middle of the treatment, and they get to be a part of that process. There isn't mysterious typing going on. I'm not hiding anything. I'm literally staring at it thinking, that wasn't quite what we needed. Let's do this instead. The patient is suddenly an active participant in their care, in their progress, in their recovery, whatever it may be for them. Self-efficacy goes up, patient interest goes up, patient autonomy goes up. They actually come in and tell me what they've added to their home exercise program instead of being unable to tell me any of their home exercises. It's magical. Like, truly, it is magical. With that, I hope to see you all September 26th for a deeper dive into Dynamometer and a whiteboard. I could stay on this for quite some time, which you'll get to see me do soon, with a little bit more research into it, a little bit more dive into some of the outcome measures, a little bit more use of the whiteboard, and how that can really build up your patient to be that active participant in their care. And yeah, I'm super excited to see you guys then. Happy aging.